Verse 2. Let's try this again, folks. Hey, so it's spooky season. I love this time of year. So we figured, you know what? Let's talk something spooky. Michael said, how about Mike Flanagan? Bet money. So, Antonio, Michael, you ready to hit this up, Michael?
Yes, sir.
Let's go. I got the right one this time. Yeah. So what's up, folks? I am Antonio Pomares, aka the Hungry Bleak, and this gentleman to me is the Cinema CEO. He is the Cinema God. He is my partner in geek. This is Michael Williams, y'all.
What's up, y'all?
So, I mean, Michael Flanagan.
Where do we begin?
For real. We know a lot of him prominently from Netflix. I think he really shot up there with the Haunting series, I guess you could say it.
Yes.
And The Haunting of Hill House still is in my head, still.
Mm-hmm.
But we have things from The Haunting of Hill House, The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Yes.
Bly Manor. We have Gerald's Game, Midnight Mass, which is if you like vampires and kind of a Stephen King feel, that is. We also have there was another one about a deaf woman. Oh my goodness, deaf woman trying to repel an attacker. That's also on Netflix. I can't remember the name of it though.
Is it?
Yeah. And that's connected to it too because somebody spotted a book from a writer from another Flanagan movie or series, and I was like, so he's got his whole Flanaganverse. There's also the Midnight Club.
Do you know the name of the movie with the deaf woman?
I can't think of it off the top of my head, but it's the woman that plays. I mean, well, she's in all of his projects for Netflix. She played the sister in The Haunting of Hill House, who was the psychic who wore the gloves.
Oh, okay.
It's her. I'm trying to think of, but our most recent thing that we got from him was The Fall of the House of Usher.
Yes.
Masterpiece. You recently just watched Gerald's Game, though, right?
Yeah, I actually kind of went on a somewhat short binge of Flanagan stuff that I had not seen that had kind of been in my queue for a while. So that included Gerald's Game, that included Midnight Mass, and that also included Midnight Club.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, like I was impressed by all of them, but probably most impressed by Gerald's Game and Midnight Mass.
Yeah.
Gerald's Game is just really, really good. Like it's the kind of movie that they don't make anymore, or at least don't release in theaters anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of had a somewhat misery vibe to it, but it's not exactly misery at all. It's just really good. Like it's I and the fact that he has this thing where he likes using the same actors over and over and over again is also something that I like because you don't really see that much anymore, other than maybe your superhero movies or a big tentpole franchise type thing.
Ryan Murphy does it with his series. Yeah.
Yeah.
He does it. But you're right. It's not like you see a lot of the same troop kind of feel to it. But it's cool though. Like we haven't really seen this since. I mean, the what's name movies, the Christopher Guest movies.
Yes.
Which now I want to go back and rewatch those damn movies.
Mm-hmm.
I love that because you get to see these incredible actors in all these ridiculous roles and how they, especially Carla.
Yes.
She delivers every single when Flanagan shows up, I go, if Carla's not in this, I'm rioting.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. She's Well, I've been a fan of Carl Gugino for a very long time, and besides Bruce Greenwood, who's also
Yes.
a very good actor that I like in
Mm.
in Gerald's Game, it's worth watching Gerald's Game just for Carla Gugino and some of the things that she does in that movie. It's amazing.
Yeah,
It's
because
just,
it's all her.
yeah, yeah,
99% of that movie is all her, and
yeah.
she carries it. It looks like effortlessly.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And I mean that's the thing. Like you kind of, in some ways, that's what you guarantee when you work with the same actors all the time, right?
Hmm.
Because you know what you're going to get out of these people. And obviously, these people enjoy your sensibilities as far as your writing and your production style or whatever, that they want to keep coming back and being a part of whatever you do, right?
Hmm.
So it eliminates wild cards. It, el- it
Yeah.
eliminates
Oh no. Yeah. Yeah.
it
Yeah.
eliminates wild cards. It
Yeah.
eliminates you to a certain extent having to rejigger your story
Hmm.
in a lot of ways. So yeah, yeah. Like I'm always kind of fascinated with Stephen King adaptations because I don't really read his books per se. Like I know about Stephen King a lot from my uncle, who is someone who read a lot of his books.
Mm.
So I am just I'm I guess I like it because I want to see what they do with it, and then I kind of go back and start asking people who've either read the book or whatever. Like, is it really close to the book or things like that? So, um, yeah, I really like Gerald's Game a lot, and
Gerald's Game.
I don't know why it took me so long to watch it. It'd been in my queue forever.
I I don't know why it took me a while to watch too. I watched it, I
Yeah.
think last year or maybe I can't remember. And
Mhm.
I was just like, okay, let me watch this. And I watched it because I knew the story, and I was like, oh, this probably it's what. And I watched it, and I was like, this is
Mhm.
not what you expect. But again,
Mhm.
that's a mix of King, but also Flanagan.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You're gonna get that with Flanagan. Flanagan could take you making toast, and it could be this horrific, diabolical
Mm.
story
Yeah.
that there's twists and turns, and by the end, you're like, did he get the butter on it? Was it
Yeah.
jam? Like you don't like he
Don't
can
use
do
the butter.
exactly. I'm like, no, it's what? The cream cheese? I didn't even see that there. Wait, when? And you got to go back and rewatch it. And they're like, when did the cream cheese come into the story? Like when did it come in? I would trust him to do that story. I would trust him to do that story easily. I would trust him to do that story.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I love the fact that he has this Flanaganverse. Is that what's called, or is it
Yeah,
Flanaganverse? I can't.
yeah, Flanaganverse.
Flanaganverse
Yeah,
on
Flanagan.
Netflix, and it's this beautiful crop of things. It reminds me of when, to say again, Stephen King, when he had his movies on ABC.
Mm-hmm.
When you get like, maybe like once a month, maybe once every couple months, well, whatever timetable was, when you
Mm-hmm.
would get that 2 or 3 part story from him, and it would be like 2 or 3 movies. That was when that was event television.
Yes.
That term sometimes gets a little no.
Mm-hmm.
Event television is when you don't have a DVR. Event television is when you don't know when reruns are going to happen. Event television is when your ass got to be home to watch this because it ain't coming back for no.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
event television. Y'all use event television now, but then you go stream it the next day. That's not really what event television is.
Yeah.
It's an event, and that's what he kind of brings that back to you, where you like, even though you can stream and watch it, a lot of his stuff. If you look on Netflix when they have like that these top 10 movies, top 10 series,
Mhm.
his stuff will be that those first 2 days will the first days or even that first week will be in that top 10, number one easily.
Yes.
Um, I loved his mass. Excuse me. Midnight Mass. I'm a vampire fan. Obviously, y'all already know, but
Mm-hmm.
the way he did it and bringing my man in, Hamish. I'm trying to remember his name.
Hammerstein.
Yes, that dude. I didn't expect him to be. I was like, wait, what are you doing here? Showed up, and I'm a fan of his from the New Adventures of Old Christine. Julia Louis-Dreyfus head. I am. And I love that series. It's funny, and I love him being like, the brother, whatever. Seeing him be this priest, and then how the story takes a turn. Flanagan knows exactly. He took vampires and did something that I love when people take vampires. Again, Stephen King. Look at Salem's Lot. Take vampires and you give it a bit of a different. You just go, what if we did this? What if we did this? And yeah, I absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I did too. Like I hadn't read anything about it being sort of an homage to Salem's Lot before I started watching it, and I got about like 3 episodes in, and I'm like, man, I'm like this, I'm like, because Salem's Lot, the original Salem's Lot, is one of my favorite sort of Stephen King adaptations, right?
Okay.
And I got 3 episodes into Midnight Mass. I'm like, Jesus, I'm like, this feels like Salem's Lot. I'm like, I see exactly what he's doing here, right? It's just like it just and it flowed, right? It just flowed. It flowed from episode to episode to episode to episode. Kept you on, the edge of your seat. And yeah, I mean, although there were things sometimes in the show that were like that had me kind of thinking like that wouldn't kind of happen. Like a perfect example is when you do finally introduce Hamish Linklater as the priest. In my mind, immediately when that scene happens, I'm like, listen, people who go to church every Sunday expect continuity, especially in the person who's giving the sermon. They're not just gonna be okay with this guy all of a sudden showing up, taking the place of whoever they've been listening to for the last umpteen years. Right? People are real funny about church in that regard.
Especially if it's a closed off community and it's like a small town and everybody knows each other.
Exactly.
That was the first thing where I was like, something about to jump off.
Yeah, exactly.
This ain't right. But I'm stick with you, Flanagan. This ain't right, but I'm stick with you.
Exactly.
Tell me a story.
Exactly. And it kind of just explodes from there, right? Like all the things that happen after that. And it's just really good. Like to me, in my mind, when I think of Mike Flanagan, I think he is like us, right? Like he grew up with somebody who introduced him to all of these classic things, and it just kind of stuck with him. You know what I mean? And you can tell he loves Stephen King. Just through Midnight Mass, you can tell he loves King. Because it's such a tribute to something like Salem's Lot. It's just amazing.
It reminded me of Salem's Lot mixed with Storm of the Century.
Yeah, in a certain way. Yeah.
But again, I guess it's everything is in a small New England town with King anyway. So yeah, I mean that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Let me ask you something.
Yes.
Because I was thinking about this as I was thinking about Flanagan today, and I was like, okay, so he does these incredible things, what have you, and in a way, he remade House of Usher.
Yes.
Not Raymond Usher, folks, but like Edgar Allan Poe.
Yes.
Usher, peace up, A-Town down.
Perfect.
So, what would you, if you could have him do like a movie or a series? What would you have him do? For me personally, I picked two series. No, a series and a movie. One is Poltergeist.
Yeah, I can see that.
The second one is Friday the 13th, the series.
Oh, really?
I because if you look at that series, it was all continuity. It had nothing to do with Friday the 13th. Jason, I don't know where the hell they come up with that from. But I could see him doing that and it having maybe an 8 an 8-episode, maybe like limited series, what have you. But the way he makes continuity and everything kind of links together, and the way the way he does continuity is so well, and you can feel everything, and you can even make mention of little things like that he'll drop, and he'll say, "Oh, so maybe we'll get a series of that later. Maybe we'll get a movie of that later." You never know with him, but he'll drop it. He'll go, "I know that you remember this."
Mm-hmm.
He does that a lot. Those are things that I would have him do. And again, folks, Poltergeist the movie, not Poltergeist Legacy from Showtime. Two completely different things. Even though I love that series because it was off the wall, different things. I'm just saying. I have to make sure that y'all know.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Well, he's attached to he's his name, whether he's working on that currently or not, has been attached to something that I've been kind of interested in over the last umpteen years because people have been trying to adapt it and they don't do any justice to it. And that's the Dark Tower series.
Again, King.
Yeah, I definitely would love to see which is what I feel like it would be. It would be in Flanagan's way, but I think it would be more faithful to what King's representation is of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really interested in seeing what he would do with Dark Tower. That's one. And then there's the other thing that supposedly he got attached to in the last year or so. Like, again, I am not for a true remake of The Exorcist because I don't think you can remake that film.
No.
But they offered him to come play in that sandbox, in the Exorcist sandbox. So I'm interested in seeing what he could bring to it that might very well be in the same vein as the first movie, but it has to be different in some way. Because I just don't think you can't recapture the way that original movie makes anybody feel.
No. And because it was something you hadn't seen something like that before.
Yeah.
But if there's someone who I would trust either Flanagan or Jordan Peele.
Yes.
Because of the way there are plenty of amazing writers and directors out there. I'm not saying that there aren't, what have you, but the way their minds click in a different way as far as horror, and to go, what if we just make this slight little turn?
Yes. Could you imagine
the grandiose?
Yeah, could you imagine a collaboration between those two?
I was just thinking that, and I was like, I don't know if the world can handle that, brother. I don't know, brother. It'd be like Dylan and Dutch coming together. Dylan, you son of a, like, just give him that brother. I would. You know, when Superman and somebody really powerful, say like Doomsday, they're both running at each other, flying, and their fists hit, and it causes huge shockwave. That's what would happen on set.
Yeah, exactly.
I would lose my. Imagine them doing let's say, y'all know I like short series. But let's say a 13 episode limited series.
Yeah.
And if they switch back and forth directing, like they're ready together, but they switch back and forth directing each episode.
Yes. Yeah.
So we've spoken that into existence.
Yeah. I just thought of the perfect show that would work for both of their styles.
Is it Manimal?
Nope.
Okay.
The Outer Limits.
Ooh. I'm not for necromancing, but I would want them to resurrect Rod Serling. To announce that mess.
Yeah.
What if you do Outer Limits? Yeah, but something about Night Gallery felt a little darker.
Or Night Gallery. I could see that too.
That one just feels more that vibe, because Night Gallery, because it was in color, like from what I remember, the episodes I remember watched were in color, and that feels so much more for Flanagan, especially after thinking of like The Fall of the House of Usher and how beautiful it was, while also being terrifying and grotesque at times. I feel that.
Yes.
Like, I just some new Night Gallery. like I said, switching. What if one writes and the other directs? Then they flip back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And different stories with different casts.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
Like
yeah.
bring in some of like Flanagan's troupe that he uses, but then also be like, Peel, who do you want?
Yeah.
All right, man. You're not gonna believe this, but I'm gonna tell you who I want. Because he comes out of left field with some of his stuff, but it works in such a great way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping Daniel is in there, obviously.
Yes, obviously. Yes.
Bring in Kiki.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bring in my man Michael Wincott, who's
Okay.
the photographer.
Mm-hmm.
I always love that dude and stuff, man.
Yeah.
He just has that, and to see him be a good guy in a movie was weird. I was like, because you're like, and he did that on purpose. He was like, everybody knows you for. I know they're gonna think that you're gonna mess up, and he didn't. And you're like, wait, that's it? That's he ain't turn on nobody. Wait, what? He ain't trying to kill nobody. Wait, what happened? Wild. Yeah,
You could bring Lupita too, and Winston if you want.
Bruh, we got 13 episodes.
Yeah.
We got time. I'm saying, like time, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that. That would be, oh my God. Oh, I'd lose my mind.
I mean, right now I'm watching whatchamacallit. I started watching that because that's the last one I haven't seen. And besides this other movie that you're talking about, The Deaf Girl, I have to find that now.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it, but just look up Flanaganverse. Like when you look up one, it shows all the Flanaganverse under there anyway.
Yeah, I'm watching Bly Manor now. I just started watching Bly Manor. It's kind of slow.
That one's very slow, but it's it's more of a love story. And the memories of love and the trauma of love and how that one's more of a love story. So that one will be slow. But then when you get to the ending, you're like it almost leaves your heart aching in a good and bad way. But it definitely does hit. I enjoyed the Haunting of Hill House just because of that. The way it that long shot. And I'm a fan of Timothy Hutton too. So that was a pleasure to see him in that role.
Yes.
He just does that one hit so hard, and it was so, and the paradoxes that were in between, and how kind of that unreliable narrator, but also the person telling you this is what's going to happen, and you're like, what? They're telling you this is what's going to happen, but their words are muffled and you can't hear them, which is literally what was happening in there. You know, and then you get to it and you're like, it might scare you, but it also makes you go, oh, what the hell? I had to rewind it and make sure I watched it. It was so I need to rewatch that. Yeah.
Even Midnight Club is good too. I'm sorry it didn't get a second season to wrap up some of those storylines, but it was pretty good for what it was. That one season was pretty good.
The fact of doing a story about terminally ill children,
that show's heavy. It's heavy.
That like him going, okay, so here's the idea. Got a show about these terminally ill kids. You're like, what did he say? This is what you're opening with? I can't even imagine what you're going to finish with. What the hell? And I didn't finish that one. I think that's the only one of his I may not. No. There's another one too. He has another movie about a kid who, when he goes to sleep, his dreams become true.
It's on Netflix?
Yeah, bro.
Okay.
Before I Wake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's called Before I Wake, because I'm looking up the Flanagan stuff now. Yeah, it's called Before I Wake. That one was, there's Midnight Mass, Haunting. I can't find the one that I was able to watch, the Flanagan one. But yeah, that's what that one's called, Before I Wake, and it's, I think Thomas Jane might be in it. Thomas Jane.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, that one is actually a Flanagan one too. And it takes a real turn because you can either have nightmares or you can have, your dreams come about when we go to sleep. And they've lost their son, so they adopt him. Then they find out that his dreams can become a reality until he wakes up, I think. So when he hears about their son comes back and they're like, wait, did you see him? Yes, everything. And then they realize what he can do. And then obviously it's a Flanagan project, so it goes downhill from there.
Oh, okay.
Obviously. So yeah, but I'm excited for whatever he's got coming out, but the library that he has so far is beautiful.
Yeah.
Eerie, but beautiful.
Yes, I agree.
I need to go back and rewatch this stuff now.
But quick question for you though.
Absolutely.
Is the house in the Midnight Club the same house from Hill House?
I think so.
It looks the same on the inside, but I can't tell if it is.
And that would be a Flanagan thing.
Yeah.
Because he loves that, and which is what we love about it. Because we're like, hey, is that the same? I love those little nuances and touches. The fact that he got Heather Langenkamp, which when was the last time we saw Heather Langenkamp?
He's amazing in that show. What? I'm like,
because even that, like, we'll go, Nancy? Even that makes you go, oh, wow. It's little things that he does like that make you go, ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
And just, yeah. So, I mean, folks, look, Flanagan has a huge library of stuff on Netflix. Check them out. You will be thoroughly entertained whether there's a movie or a series. And look out for stuff because there's always something there that you didn't expect to see.
Yes.
But he loves giving us that. And that's what's awesome. So it's spooky season. Go watch some Flanagan. Let us know what you like, what you didn't like. I'm going to try to get the name of that movie with the girl who's deaf because I can't remember it for the life of me. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. I can't. I just can't. I think it's because he has so many great things that you're like, oh, I remember that, but I can't remember the name of it. And some of it just, now I need to rewatch it. Like, that's one of the problems with me and Michael talking is when you're talking about something, we're like, oh, yeah, that was, yeah. We still need to do a swap where you watch a horror movie that you haven't seen that I've watched, and I watch a horror movie that you haven't seen that I watch.
Yes.
Because we need to just freak each other out for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Because obviously we have nothing else going on in our lives. I mean, we have no jobs or partners, significant others there, and anything like that, family or food to cook. Obviously,
exactly.
Sweaters to wear. Obviously, we have nothing like that. Hats to wear. Obviously, beards to grow or shave off. Yeah, nothing going on. It's fine. So, folks, as always, I am Antonio Pomares. This has been Michael Williams, and this is the Hungry Bleak Presents TBA News Chat, and we had a fun time talking about Michael Flanagan, Flanagan's Shenanigans. Shenanigans, sir. I do that and my credit score goes up. Harumph. I don't even make no sense. That's ridiculous. That is absurd. It's horrible. All right, folks. We will see y'all. We will see y'all later. Peace.
All right.